Hello and welcome back to the another episode of Daily Quiz for IAS Prelims 2025. It is 26th September today, and in this video we are going to derive prelims based questions from these articles which are on this slide, which were actually taken from the newspapers. You know, if you are the first time visitor of this channel, then let me introduce this initiative to you guys. Every day we discuss three types of questions in this video. The first set of questions are from the current affairs. We take up the most important articles from the newspapers. We break them down into the simplest language possible and try to derive some prelims based questions from those articles, so that it will give you the idea how to read your newspapers with respect to your preparation, and also it will give you the idea how questions could be framed from these news articles, how they are relevant for your preparation. And the another set of questions which we discuss from the static topics, as we had started from the Indian polity and right now we are discussing the citizenship. So after we complete our discussion with respect to the current affairs topics and derive questions from them, we will take up the static topic, that is citizenship, and we'll derive some prelims based questions from this article too. And at the end of our session, we will discuss few previous year questions from the previous year question books. We will try to find out the ways and methods by which we can solve those questions, and also how to implement that knowledge in your next upcoming exam. So this is all about this initiative. I hope you will watch the video till the end. Before we start our discussion, I would like to request you a few things here. First of all, please do write or note these questions somewhere with you. Keep these questions somewhere with you, so that when your exams would be near and you would want to revise your current affairs, it would definitely help you in that. Because when your exams are near and you want to revise your current affairs, it is not an easy task for you. As I had been aspirant myself, I know how difficult it is. So if you have that time these questions with you, by just reading these questions, by just revising these questions, it will connect you with the current affairs of the year. So please do note these questions down, and at least take the screenshot of these questions. Keep these questions with you, so that it will help you in your prelims preparation. And with this, I would like to request you guys, please do subscribe the channel and share it with your friends, so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. Here, let us start with our first topic. It is the misplaced move of one nation, one election. Here the author is actually criticizing this move, the simultaneous elections in India. He is criticizing how government is promoting it. From 2019 itself, our Prime Minister Narendra Modi has been promoting this, that we will go for the one election, one nation. We will go for these simultaneous elections. But there, according to the author, there are various concerns which are related to it. There are various benefits which are promoted by the government with respect to the one nation, one election. With respect to this, let's get a brief idea. There was a high level committee which was framed for this, discussing what are its advantages, what are its disadvantages, and it was chaired by Ramnath Kovind, our previous president, and he gave his report. They gave their report with respect to the one nation, one election, simultaneous elections. And with respect to that, the Union Cabinet has approved their report, and they are going to frame a constitutional amendment bill with respect to it. So this is in a nutshell about this one nation, one election. Now there are concerns. There are, the way government has promoted it, the way they are saying that it will, reduce our expenses, it will reduce the time spent, it will definitely give more time to the politicians, more time to the government officials to do their official work rather than getting involved in the elections. But according to the author, there are various concerns related to it. According to the author, there is no, for example, the first thing which the government promoted in it was that by conducting the simultaneous elections, one thing they will do, they will reduce the cost of elections. But according to the author, it is not the perfect thing to do, because if we will look at the cost of elections per year, it is something somehow near to 400 to 500 crores per year, which is spent on elections in our country. So according to the author, this much amount of money is not that big a deal. And when if we will look at, if we will think of that, we will compromise, we will reduce the expenses, but at what cost? Because if we have to go for this one nation one election campaign, we have to go for this simultaneous elections, then we have to go for the various constitutional amendments. We have to we have to compromise on various basic structures of the constitution. For example, according to author, it is merely against the basic structure, which is federalism, because when we will go for this one nation one election process, we would have to reduce the terms of the state governments. For example, every state government has their term of 5 years. We have to, for some state governments, we would have to reduce that. We have to bring in the constitutional amendments, and for some state governments, we will have to increase that. So this is not something which we can do on the cost of some limited amount of money. For अगर हम यहाँ देखेंगे, सिर्फ 500 करोड़ जो हम यूजुअली हर साल इस पे स्पेंड करते हैं, उसके बिना पर we should not, on that basis we cannot go for these such amendments, and which will lead to fuss in our country, which can lead to the damage to our basic structure. So this is one of the concern raised by the author in this article. And also, according to the author, what he says, that what the government is proclaiming here, that when election, our country is always involved in the elections, and the political leaders and other of government officials are always in the campaign mode, or always in the elections. So they get least time in the policy framing work, they get least time in doing good for the people. So according to author, this has no empirical, there is no statistical proof behind it. If we will look, according to the author, he says that if we look in the history, if we look back what we had done during the elections, he says that there were many programs or policies which were put forward by the government, which happened when the elections were very much near. For example, demonetization happened when there was elections in the UP. So according to author, there are these concerns raised by the government are very much not that much advantageous here, because we are compromising much more. Why? If we will go for the one nation one election campaign, if we will go for this simultaneous elections. So this is in a nutshell about this article. With respect to this article, we will solve a prelims based question and get more idea about what are the challenges with respect to the one nation one election. Then the another article, it is about the China's warning shots with minerals that run the world. About China, we know one thing, that it is controlling the critical minerals. It is the leader in the critical minerals. 60% of the critical minerals are controlled by China. Its processing is controlled by China. 60% of rare earth minerals are controlled by China. 80% of processing is under China's control. So China is in fact enjoying the monopoly with respect to the critical minerals. And recently we are seeing the trends that China is using it as a war tactic against the countries which are against them. They had used it against Netherlands, they had used it against Japan, and now they had banned the antimony, which is a critical mineral which has huge advantages in the defense system. They had banned it, they had stopped, they had restricted the export of critical mineral, which is antimony. So this is in a nutshell about this article. What does the author wants to say here, that how China's control over the critical minerals had made China a superpower in this world, how it is controlling its monopoly in the world with respect to the critical minerals, and how it can challenge the other superpower countries with respect to it, because all those countries are very much dependent on China's critical minerals, on China's control over critical minerals. So this is in a nutshell about this article. What we need to know from this article here with respect to the prelims is this mineral that which is antimony. So with respect to this, we will solve a prelims based question and get more idea about it. Then the another article which was in the news is about the global nuclear disarmament. It is 26th September today, and it is the International Day of Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons. It is celebrated as the International Day of Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons. with respect to this, we should know that United Nations General Assembly, they in few years ago, they adopted treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons, which is TPNW. So with respect to that, we will understand in the questions what this treaty is. It was actually its idea was proposed in 2017 itself, and in 2021 it came into the force. What is the main provisions of this treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons? Its main provision is to push for global disarmament. It is adopted by UN, but one thing we should know about it, it is not supported by the current nuclear states. For example, we have P5 nuclear states, we have Pakistan, we have India, we have allegedly Israel and North Korea. They had not stated, they had not supported it. But this, this treaty is very much different from the earlier treaties which we have. For example, NPT, which was adopted in 1967, in which India totally boycotted that, Pakistan totally boycotted that. This treaty, which is treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons, it is very different, and it is very inclusive, because it focuses on totally banning on nuclear weapons from all countries. So it is more respected treaty rather than NPT, which we have earlier. So with respect to this treaty, we will solve a prelims based question and get more idea about it. Then there was another article in the news. It is about the record production of rice and millets this year. India has seen the record production of rice and millets, but unfortunately, one thing is there that the pulses and oilseeds, it has reduced it. So this is in a nutshell about the production of rice and millets. And with respect to this, we should know what are the states which produce maximum rice in India, and what are the states which produce maximum millets in India. Let's try to find out that in the questions. After that, there was another article. It is about the India Australia. They are pushing forward comprehensive economic cooperation agreement. Earlier between Australia and India, they have ECTA, which is a limited trade deal. It is for certain goods only. Now both the countries are working on the comprehensive economic cooperation agreement, which is a kind of free agreement, a free trade agreement between the two countries. Both the countries are working on it for in various sectors, for job creation, for different means, for making the trade easy between the two countries. And also India is looking to go for $100 billion trade relationship with Australia. After that, there was another news article which was in the news. It is about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Why it is in news? Because Pakistan is hosting heads of government meeting. It is an issue right now for India whether India should visit there. Should India visit in person, or should India visit in a virtual form, or should India totally boycott it? So this is the issue here. What are the what are the ex-officials suggesting that India should not quit this organization, quit this meeting, because this is a multilateral meeting and it's very important for India to show its leadership skills, to show its global presence, to show the globe that it is presence in the Asia. So what they are advising the government, that we should not consider Pakistan's bilateral relations. We should not let Pakistan's bilateral relations to come in and derogate our relationship, derogate our multilateral relations. So it is advised that India should personally visit that. Either our Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit, or our foreign minister will visit this meeting, which is going to be held in Pakistan. So this is in a nutshell about it. With respect to this, we will solve a prelims based question and get more idea about Shanghai Cooperation Organization. One more thing I want to add here, that in 2017 India and Pakistan were added to this organization. Earlier it was only limited to the 5 countries, Russia, China, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan and Turkmenistan, and in 2017 India and Pakistan were added to it, and after that Iran and Belarus were also added. So these are the countries which are involved in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. After we will solve the questions with respect to these articles, we will go to the static topic, which is citizenship. We will discuss a few ways of acquisition of the citizenship in India and derive a prelims based question on that. And finally, we will derive some previous year questions and our today's discussion. So with this, I hope you had got the basic idea about you know what about what is in the news. I hope you had got this basic idea. Now with this, let's move to the first slide and try to solve these questions. Here the first question is, it is direct and straightforward question. It says which of the following statements correctly describe, we have to look at the question very carefully. It says which of the following statements correctly describe the challenges associated with implementing simultaneous elections in India. So here why I had taken this question, to give you the proper idea what are the challenges associated what are the challenges associated with implementing the simultaneous elections in India, as it was already in the news article today. So let's try to get more information through this question. The first argument given in this question is logistical complexity. What does it say? Conducting simultaneous elections requires extensive coordination and management of resources across multiple levels of organization, multiple levels of government. 100% correct. This is one of the concern of the simultaneous election, that there is logistical complexity in it. Second, legal and constitutional issues. 100% correct, because we have to go for various constitutional amendments with respect to bring in this simultaneous elections. What does it say? Current electoral laws and the constitution may need significant amendments to facilitate simultaneous elections. 100% correct. Now third statement given here is voter turnout. 100% correct. Simultaneous elections might lead to voter fatigue, potentially reducing turnout in subsequent elections. 100% correct. We need to educate the voters about it, because our habit has been developed differently. We need to educate our elderly voters with respect to the voting in simultaneous elections. Then the fourth statement given here is political dynamics. It says the political landscape should become skewed, favoring large parties and undermining smaller regional parties. 100% correct. This can be also one of the disadvantages with respect to the simultaneous elections, and the rest of the disadvantages were discussed in our news discussion itself. Now with this, let's move to the another question. It is with respect to the antimony. We discussed it because China has banned, restricted its export. So what does it say? Antimony is a metalloid with various industrial applications. 100% correct. Which of the following are recognized applications of antimony? Whenever you will find such question with respect to any element, I will give you a trick here. If you don't know the options, most of the times all the options are correct with respect to the application of any element, because you would, for example, you would rarely find any application which is not related to that atom. So whenever such question would come, always mark all the options correct. So let's have a look at this. What are the applications? What are the various industrial applications? First, it is used as a flame retardants, used in plastics, textiles and electronics to reduce flammability. 100% correct, nothing wrong with this statement. Second, alloys, employed in the production of lead acid batteries and certain metal alloys to enhance hardness and mechanical properties. 100% correct, it is used as an alloy. Third, medicine, utilized in certain medical compounds for treating parasitic infections. 100% correct. Statement 4, glass manufacturing, used in the production of specialized glass for its optical properties. 100% correct. So with respect to this question, all the statements are correct. I had already told you, when any such question which deals with the applications of the metal, applications of any element, then if you don't know the options, mark all the options are correct. Most of the time this is the correct answer. Now with this, let's move to the another question here. It says it is about the treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons. It was brought in, it was established in 2021. Let's try to understand it. The treaty on prohibition of nuclear weapons aims to completely prohibit nuclear weapons, leading to their eventual elimination. 100% correct. It is more inclusive than NPT, so it is more respected by the countries. About 100 countries have already accepted it. But who are the countries whose acceptance is much needed? It is the countries who have the nuclear power, P5 countries, and also those India, Israel, Pakistan, and North Korea. They need to accept this treaty. Then that would be the first step towards the elimination of nuclear weapons. Then the second statement here, it says the treaty was adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2017 and entered into force in 2021. 100% correct, nothing wrong with this statement. We understood it in our discussion too. Then the third statement, nuclear armed states and states under nuclear alliances are legally bound by the TPNW to eliminate their nuclear arsenals. This is totally incorrect because it has not any legal bounding on any nuclear country. So this is totally incorrect because in fact nuclear countries has not totally accepted it. And if we look at the countries like China, USA and Russia, they had totally went against it. They had done more harm to this treaty. So this statement is totally incorrect. Coming to the fourth statement, it says that treaty includes provisions of assistance to victims of nuclear weapons and for environmental remediation. 100% correct, nothing wrong with this statement. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1, statement 2 and statement 4 only. And from the code given below, the correct code is option B. With this, let's move to the another question here in the next slide. It says, it is about the regional anti-terrorist structure, which is RATS, is a part of which of the following organization? This is a very simple question. It is the part of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is option C. So correct answer to this question is option C, SCO. It is the part of SCO, Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure, RATS. It works under SCO. So with this, let's move to the another question. Here, this is the last question from the current affairs. It talks about the match the following. If you had followed me, if you know me, you would definitely know one thing, that whenever such questions come, I do match them correctly so that to avoid any confusion. Rice is mostly found in Punjab and West Bengal, so as millets mostly found in Rajasthan and Karnataka. So this is the correct match for both the crops. So with this, we complete today's discussion with respect to the current affairs questions. Now let's move to the another part, which is the citizenship, which is the static topic, and today we are going to discuss the acquisition of citizenship via various methods, and we are going to describe them, discuss them, and finally we are going to derive some prelims based question on that. With this, let's move to the another slide. Here, today's static topic is acquisition of citizenship. Yesterday we discussed about who is the citizen of a country, who enjoys the political rights, majorly who enjoys the right to vote. Now you can ask a question, sir, what about those children who don't have the right to vote? Should we not consider them on that basis that they are the citizens? No, they are definitely the citizens of our country because they are born in our country and their parents have the right to vote. And those enjoy all the rights which are in our constitution. They enjoy all the duties, they have to follow all the duties, they enjoy all the directive principles, they enjoy all the rights in our constitution. They are the citizens of our country. Now let's understand this citizenship by these terms, by how we can acquire the citizenship of a country, of our country, which is India. In our country, we can acquire citizenship by these following 5 ways: by birth, by descent, by registration, by naturalization, and by incorporation of territory. Now here we are going to discuss what is the criteria for a person to be a citizen of our country if he is born in our country. For example, here we can say, suppose here a couple have came from different countries and they were working in our country. What if tomorrow they will they will give birth to a child? What would be the criteria of that child? Would he be considered the citizen of our country? So to understand these questions, let's try to understand what is the criteria for a person to be the citizen of India by birth. So in our constitution there are various amendments with respect to this. If we look earlier, what was the criteria? For example, a person born in India on or after January 25. If you are born after sorry, I don't have good pen here. After Jan, if you are born after Jan 26, 1950, but before July 1, 1987, if you are born after January 2020, after January 26, 1950, and before July 1st, 1987, you are a citizen of India by birth, irrespective of the nationality of his or of his parents. For example, if you are born in India after January 26, 1950, and before July 1987, whether your parents were Indians or not, whether your parents are illegal migrants or legal migrants, whether your parents belong to any part of the world, if you are born in this time period, if you were born in India, then you are the citizen of India. So this was earlier what used to be. Then it was changed, then how it changed. A person born in India, if a person is born after after 1st July 1987, but before December 3, 2004, is considered a citizen of India only if either of his parent is a citizen of India at the time of his birth. Now it was changed. If a person who is born after July 1st, 1987, and before December 3, 2004, if he is born in India, and for him to be the citizen of India, there is one criteria, that one of his parents should be the citizen of India. If both the parents are not the citizen of India, then he can't acquire his citizenship in India because he was born in India. Then he has to go for different ways and methods to acquire this citizenship. Then it was also changed further. There were cases that there were illegal migrants, and there were children of illegal migrants, and it created a huge fuss in our country. Then it was changed further. It was added that further those born in India on or after December 3, 2004 are considered citizens of India only if both of their parents are citizens of India, or one of those parents is a citizen of India and the other is not an illegal migrant at the time of their birth. For example, after 2004, 3rd December 2004, what will happen if you are born in India, and for you to acquire the citizenship of India, there is one important criteria, that both of the parents should be the citizens of India, or at least one should be the citizen of India. One of your parents should be the citizen of India, and another parent, he should not be the illegal migrant. So this was made very much clear after 2004 itself. So these are the criteria by which you can by birth you can become the citizen of India. This is what is mentioned in the constitution. This is what is mentioned in Indian laws with respect to the birth. So I think this much is enough for today's lecture. I hope you would understand it, you had understood it. Now let's try to solve a question with respect to the acquisition of a citizenship with respect to birth. Tomorrow we are going to understand by descent, registration, naturalization, and by incorporation of territory. So let's try to solve a prelims based question on acquisition of citizenship by birth. Now let's try to solve the question with respect to the acquisition of citizenship, which we understood in the previous slide. Now try to solve this question. Here the question says, which of the following statements regarding the acquisition of citizenship by birth in India are correct? The first statement, it says a person born in India on or after January 26, 1950 is a citizen of India if either of their parents is an Indian citizen at the time of the birth. 100% correct. Nothing wrong with this statement. Even if his parents are not the Indian citizens, he is also the citizen of India. So why are we making this correct? Because it does not make it extreme statement. We don't find any extreme statement here, like only he would be the citizen of India only if either of his parents are citizen. If this statement would have been like that, then it would have been incorrect. But here it is not an extreme statement, so we can mark it correct. Statement 2, a person born in India on or after January 1, 1987 is a citizen of India. Here we can see the problem, only if both parents are Indian citizens at the time of their birth. No, totally incorrect, because it is against what we learned in the previous slide. It is not only both the parents should be citizens if the person is born between January 1, 1987 to 2004. It is one of the parents should be the Indian citizen and another can be illegal migrant or anybody or non-citizen. So this statement is incorrect. Coming to the third statement, it says the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019 provides for citizenship by birth to individuals born in India before the age 18, irrespective of their parents' citizenship. Totally incorrect. Statement 4, the provisions of citizenship by birth are outlined in Article 5 of the Indian Constitution. 100% correct, because it says citizen. Article 5 deals with the citizenship at the commencement of the Constitution. So it is 100% correct, nothing wrong with this statement. So with respect to this question, the correct statements are statement 1 and statement 4 only. So with this, I hope you had understood the static part 2. You had understood it. You had got the basic idea about how a person is a citizen of India by birth. What are the various ways, what for various generations. With this, let's move to the last part of our discussion, which deals with the previous year question. Here the first question says, which of the following Indian leaders was dismissed by the British from the Indian civil services? Is it Satyendra Tagore? He was the first Indian to qualify the exam for civil services, so he is not that person. Is it R.C. Dutt? No. Is it Subhash Chandra Bose? No. Is it Tagore? No. Then who is he? Surendranath Banerjee. He was dismissed from his post. So with respect to this question, the correct statement is option B. Now coming to the last part of our discussion, last question of our discussion, it says the term imperial preference was applied to the racial discrimination by the Britishers? No. Subordination of Indian interests to that of the British? No. Preference given to British political agents or Indian princes? Totally incorrect. Then the correct statement is this statement, which is special privileges on British imports in India. So this term imperial preference was applied to the special privileges on British imports in India. So with this, I hope we had completed all what was needed in today's class. With this, I would say goodbye to you guys. Please do subscribe the channel and share with your friends so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. And please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys, and what are the changes we should bring in our teaching style. Thank you for staying with us.